This video is going to be very educative and explosive, so I advise that you take your time to watch every bit of it. I also advise that you share as much as possible, let it go around everywhere, because we are going to be exposing a very important issue concerning our future as Ndi Igbo. Regardless of who you support in this Biafran struggle, be it Nnamdi Kanu, be it Mazi Simon Ekpa, or the group you support, be it IPOB, BRGIE, MASOB, or whichever group you support, so long as you are for the emancipation of Ndi Igbo, so long as you are supporting the freedom of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, so long as you are fighting against systematic injustice in Biafra land and the treatment of Ndi Igbo in Nigeria, I stand 100% with you, regardless of who you support. My platform, Spotters Family, we are non-affiliated to any group whatsoever. We open our doors and arms to Ndi Igbo worldwide, regardless of who you support and who you pitch your tent with. Because we are for one united Igbo. We are for one indivisible Biafra. We try as much as possible on this platform to unite all factions and bring Ndi Igbo under one umbrella, trying as much as possible not to get involved in any misunderstanding going on. And we encourage all of you out there to please toe this same line. And please, whenever you are coming to this platform, whenever you are coming to my comment section, regardless of the message that I passed on that day, please be very cultured and guided, because I may not give all the messages you want to hear at all the time. It doesn't mean that I am for you. It doesn't mean that I am against you. Because if you look at the message very well, I am for the one indissoluble Biafra and Igbo. And nothing can come between me and that. So please keep your faction and your quarrel beside you. I'm not interested in that. But that is not why we are here. We are here to talk about something very important. So back to the matter of the day and why we are here, talking about the way forward for Biafra, referendum, and the cause of Ndi Igbo generally. I will read this for you. As we have said before, a referendum is a democratic process where the people vote on a specific political question, often on issues like independence, constitutional change, or governance systems. Now, there are two types of referendum, which I want to lay out for you now. The first type is a binding referendum. This result is legally enforceable by the government. Now, the second type is advisory referendum. This result serves as a recommendation, not an automatic change. Now, you see the two. The first one is binding referendum. The second one is advisory. I made a video some days ago talking about this, and some people came to attack me in the comment section, telling me that referendum has already been carried out by the USB government and Ngozi Orabueze. I saw those messages that you wrote, and what I have to say is simple. I'm not arguing that you did not carry out a referendum. I am arguing that you did not carry out a binding referendum, because what you carried out was an advisory referendum. Now let me read to you the difference of the two so that you see. A binding referendum is usually carried out by the government and international bodies. This is the formal referendum organized by United Nations on behalf of indigenous people. That is the binding one. And the results are being executed after the results have come out. It is internationally enforceable. But an advisory referendum is carried out most times by the indigenous people themselves in a protest vote, just to show the world that, look, we have done this and we are united in this. You know, most times they organize themselves, like Biafra now, we just decide to vote on our own. And the results, we show the world that, look, oh, we have done this and done that. But generally, it was just done by Biafra itself as a way of, advising, or a way of protest to show the world, to draw attention, to draw the attention of the world on the plight of Ndi Igbo. It is not binding. It is not binding. It is just an advisory, referendum that anybody can just do. And that is exactly the one that, USB did. I was trying to make people understand, because on this platform, we educate. So it is very important for you, whenever you come to this platform, first of all, listen before you talk. This is not anyhow platform. Here, we do our facts checking. Here, we are very, very careful with what we say. And anything we say here, check it anywhere in the world, it is still the same. And not everybody will do those digging for you. So the referendum carried out by the USB, very respected. I am happy it was done. Mark my word. I am very happy it was done. I am proud that at least the Biafra Republic government in exile is doing everything possible to keep the flag flying. I respect that. And your leaders out there, Dr. Ngozi Orabueze, I respect her and what she's doing. Don't think I don't. Don't think I don't know. That I don't speak much about all these things does not mean I do not know. It's just that sometimes if you jungle lots of things in the channel or in the videos, you may overshadow the purpose of which is the referendum of Ndigbo and the emancipation of Biafra. That is why I'm here. And most times I don't want to really, divert a lot. So just to let you know that the referendum you conducted was just an advisory one, not a legally binding one, because there are two types of referendum. The first one is the binding, and the second one is just an advisory one, which is a way of drawing global attention to what you are doing, what we are doing in Biafra land. Let's go on. United Nations Charter, Article 1, Section Article 1(2) recognizes the right of people to self-determination. International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, ICCPR, Article 1 says, all people have the right to self-determination. African Charter on Human and People's Rights, Article 20, guarantees the right to existence and self-determination, particularly if a people are oppressed. These three sections I quoted in international bodies is just to let you know that don't let anybody gaslight you. Self-determination is enshrined in this right. And once you are a signatory to the United Nations Charter, you are a signatory to the world. There has been occasions where some presidents, ex-presidents, have gone to the ICJ and have gone to prison. Charles Taylor is part of it. People will say, does United Nations work? Because some people have come to my comment section to say, the UN, are you sure? Let me tell you, United Nations work. Their laws are binding. Their charters are strong. That is why many people are in prison, international prison, by the ICJ, International Criminal Justice. Yes, because once you're a country and you are a signatory to the ICJ, which is an international body, you can be arrested when you commit international crimes. The genocide is an international crime, and many more. So people are in prison. Even right, I'm talking to you right now, there is a warrant on the head of President Vladimir Putin. There is also a warrant on the head on the Israeli president from the ICJ. And if they go to any country that is binding under the ICJ, they can be arrested there. So yes, the UN laws are binding. Forget that maybe we've not gotten what we want yet. They are binding. So when the UN says that self-determination is a law, it is a law. That is why I keep on pressing that we press forward and take advantage of the laws already on ground for us. Take advantage of it. Don't just sleep on us and think UN does not do this, UN doesn't do that. Don't say that. Don't say that. The laws are there for a reason. Let's go on. Now, this is how a referendum will apply to Biafra. For the Biafran cause, a referendum is viewed as the most peaceful, democratic pathway to determine whether the people of the Southeast and possibly adjoining areas wish to remain part of Nigeria or form an independent state. But there are key challenges. 1. There is no explicit Nigerian law currently allowing regions to secede via a referendum. Also, the Nigerian Constitution in Section 2, subsection 1, declares Nigeria as one indivisible and indissoluble sovereign state. Also, Any official referendum would likely require constitutional amendments under Section 9, demanding approval by 2/3 of National Assembly and 2/3 of all states' houses of assembly. Now, what has happened about this in other countries? What are the precedents? That is if we are going to do referendum conducted by Nigeria itself. For Nigeria to conduct a referendum by themselves, the laws have to be changed. That is if Nigeria is going to conduct it without the UN, because definitely the UN can get involved when the case gets to that level, because UN laws is above country laws. That is how it works. Yes, the UN laws are above member country laws. But the UN laws cannot take effect except there is a resolution on it. And when there's a resolution on it, voted by a member state, UN can move in and force the country to conduct that referendum. Let's go on. What are the precedents of the UN referendum in other countries? Several independence movements have used referendums, such as South Sudan in 2011. The UN-supported referendum, 98.83% voted for independence, recognized internationally. In Eritrea, 1993, UN overseen referendum after Ethiopia conflict, that's civil war. In Scotland, 2014, the UK approved but rejected independence. No, 55% voted no. That means Scotland did not vote for independence. They voted to remain enslaved in the British Empire. Now, Quebec, Canada, 1995. Failed independence votes, of which 50.6% voted no. They don't want to stay on their own. They want to be in Canada. So you see, these examples show that international legitimacy often depends on, one, government consent or at least negotiation, international monitoring, UN, AU, or recognized bodies, and 3, peaceful process free from armed conflict. Now, listen very carefully, because what I'm about to read to you is the path to Biafran global recognition. Listen. Global recognition is the process by which other countries and international organizations accept a new entity as a sovereign state. For Biafra, recognition could happen in two main scenarios. Scenario A, negotiated referendum and recognition, whereby Nigeria agrees to a monitored referendum, whereby the UN or AU endorses this process, whereby if the result favors independence, nations begin recognizing Biafra, and also whereby Nigeria transfers sovereignty peacefully. Then also, the first one I read now for you was negotiated referendum and recognition. The second one is unilateral declaration and selective recognition, which means Biafra declares independence without Nigerians' consent. Biafra gains recognition from a few countries. Recognition spreads if the state provides stability, governance, and control over the territory. But the risks is economic sanctions, diplomatic isolation, possibly military conflict. Now, what is the legal criteria for recognition? According to international law, Montevideo Convention of 1933, it says a state must have 1, permanent population, 2, defined territory, 3, a government, and 4, capacity to enter relations with other states. Now, the role of global bodies like United Nations says that membership requires Security Council recommendations and a General Assembly majority. Also, African Union often reluctant to support secession without parent state consent. to avoid setting precedent for other breakaways. Also, European Union can offer political recognition if the referendum is peaceful and credible. And these are strategic steps for Biafra advocates. 1. Listen carefully. Diplomatic lobbying. We are going to target sympathetic nations, human rights bodies, and diaspora influence. 2. Human rights documentation. We must present strong evidence of oppression aligned with Article 20 of the African Charter. Number 3, there must be unity among stakeholders. Avoid factionalism in pro-Biafra movements. This particular one, I want to buttress it very well. That's why I opened my video today telling you, whichever platform you find yourself, whether it is the USB, whether it is for Nnamdi Kanu, please drop all those things when you're coming to watch my videos, because right here, we do not pitch tents. All we do is for the Igbo race, the Igbo people, and injustice carried out on the Igbo people around the world. So please, if we do not close ranks together, we cannot get what we want to get. And the reason Kanu is suffering today is because of this disunity. I don't want to go into that. Maybe in the later video of today, I will talk more on this part. So let me just keep on going. Also, international media engagement. We must frame the movement in terms of democracy, justice, and human rights, and not a violent and non-conflict one. That is very important. We should keep the struggle as peaceful as possible. As peaceful as possible. Doesn't mean you cannot protest. When you say peaceful, it doesn't mean that you cannot protest. It doesn't mean that you cannot, civil disobedience one way or the other. But definitely speaking, once you decide to carry arms, it's going to be very complicated. Now, this is why peaceful means is very crucial. A peaceful referendum is more likely to earn international sympathy. It's more likely to avoid terrorism designations. It will open diplomatic doors. It will lead to faster recognition, as happened with South Sudan. Violence, on the other hand, risks international condemnation, legal labeling as insurgents, justification for military crackdown. Biafra's global recognition will almost certainly depend on legitimacy of its referendum process, the international political climate, and Nigeria's reaction. While unilateral declarations are possible, global recognition historically favors movements that demonstrate peaceful intent, unity, and readiness for governance. So this is the pathway for Biafran referendum, a way that definitely will lead to what we want. And I have done a very exhausting, a very exposing one there to let us know that it may be complicated, it may seem like that from the start, but where there is a defined process, there will always be a defined way to get it. Let me tell you something. Many people are saying, Biafra, Biafra, since I was born, I've been hearing about Biafra, when will they ever come? If countries that have independence today stopped fighting, will they get what they want today? It is not time for you to be weary, or for you to be feeling down, or for you to lose hope and focus on the goal ahead. Because if you go to United Nations, if you see countries there that are looking for independence, you will shock. You will shock. There are many of them. I think it's time for us to be strong. It's time for us to study the charters of the United Nations, to know the rules and regulations, to know what they need, what they want, and to do it. It's not time for us to sit down, sit back, and start watching from all corners and thinking, oh, somebody will do it. Who is somebody that will do it? It is me and you that will do it. That's why I'm here every day on my platform, trying my best to always bring out, call out international community on the goings on in Biafra land, and also calling the United Nations to fast track the achievements of Biafra. Supporters, family around the world, I greet you all. Happy Sunday, and remain blessed in all you do. I have been your host, Chi Ne Du. Thank you for watching my video. So let's see you next one. Peace.